How's it going, guys? DariuL here. Some of you may know me as Great Butt.
It is very nice to have out another video because it's been a while again, and it's really annoying because I have been frustrated with how many difficulties I've been having with my Elgato and how the audio is not synced correctly. Sometimes the actual visual itself of games that I end up recording don't end up being synced well. You know, they skip a little bit, they lag, and I've recorded a lot of games that were actually pretty good uploads, and most of them being against some really good players, and then some of them being just really good gameplays. But it's just really frustrating because I go to get ready to edit the video, and I notice that the audio is just really off, and that's just a pain in the ass because then I'm just like, well, I'm not gonna sit through this and try and sync the audio myself, because by the time I'm done putting like 15-20 minutes in to fix everything, no matter how well I do it, it's not gonna be perfect. So I kind of just say, screw it, I'm gonna delete this audio. So that's why I've been getting really annoyed and not uploading as much as I'd like to. I think I have another video that I'm gonna upload a little bit. I fixed that a little bit more. With my Elgato, it kind of just seems more consistent with the longer the video is, the more problems there tends to be with the syncing. So I'll try and figure that out more. But yeah, it'd be really cool if I could see. I don't know. Let's just get into this. I usually never use a prophet because I don't know. I used to in all my older videos, yeah, but I really didn't know that much of what I was doing. I thought he was a great character. He's honestly, I don't know, from what I've seen, he's probably the least favorable leader, Covenant leader at least, because he's not really that effective later game. Yes, if you upgrade him, he flies and whatnot, but that's all really. His mobility is a lot faster, but that's really it. He's not that useful early game, which is very important in 1v1s especially. He's very useful when you want to get hooks because you don't really have to sacrifice much when it comes to getting engineers and whatnot for healing them, like Arbiter or Brute Chieftain. I don't know. It's Elite Honor Guards as well. It's just suicide runts. They're so nice to have. Yes, it's a sacrifice of 160 supplies, but they're very effective. They put out they have a lot of damage output, and so do the actual brutes. But when it comes to this, Elite Honor Guards are really they're great on defense, and they might have quite a bit of health, but they're really not that useful. If the other player ends up getting flamethrowers out just a little bit, you're pretty much done. So my whole goal here was to try and make sure that I could get both reactors most of the time, and this other guy, I don't know, it's very common, pretty much on necessity. If you're in a 1v1 and you're in a UNSC, you get out Warhogs or Flamers, because some people don't understand that whenever you're playing a 1v1, either way, even in other games, you want to 2v2s, 3v3s, it doesn't matter what you're doing. You should always get out some units to protect you for defense or go on the offense. Not necessarily, when I mean offense, I don't mean just go straight for their base, but I mean taking over hooks, for example, like the reactors, and taking over smaller rebel bases so you can pick up those supplies. It's very useful. Normally, I don't upgrade right away to Blessed Immolation for the Prophet. That's what I remember in all the times I've used them. There, see all those Warhogs there. But I figured, since I wanted to take this hook very quickly and not get destroyed by those anti-infantry flood, I figured I should upgrade as soon as possible. So I've got an Elite Honor Guard in that, and my goal here right now, since I've seen that many Warhogs, is to get a second tech Prophet as soon as possible. Once he gets second tech with those Forerunners protecting him, he's very awesome. Ancestral Perversion. I see I have it right there now, so if I run into his Warhogs, I'm gonna be very hard to stop. One annoying thing about the Prophet is that once you get his shields down, his health is just absolute shit. The one thing I really like about Forerunners or ancestral perversion as well on the Prophet is that those Sentinels have just ridiculous range. Jesus. So if someone tries to run from you, you can still kill them off with those. Here, I see his Warhog's head straight for my base, and I'm expecting him that he just changed his mind from fighting my Prophet, and he's just gonna try and hit my base a little bit. So I'm gonna get a Wraith out as soon as possible, instead of actually build that second building right there, and send my Prophet over to his reactor just as a precaution. My Ghost, I moved him over a little bit more just so I can see more of a prediction on when they're coming over. And you see he's got that reactor now, but I may be wasting a lot of resources here. That's why I tried upgrading to second tech beam. It might have been a bad decision to use all these sources here, but honestly, it could have saved me a lot by stopping an upgrade or something like that. So it might have been a good idea. It might have not, because I could have gotten another Wraith with all those sources I just used. Either way, you can see now he's trying to take over my other reactor. I don't know what he was doing with those Warhogs in that recent time though. So I decided my Prophet's not going to be fast enough to get all the way over there in time to defend that. So I'm just going to go ahead and take this reactor myself and then deal with it after I have enough Wraiths out. Wraiths, like I think I stated in my last video, are amazing in 1v1s. They're amazing. Maybe I don't see them get used often in 2v2s, 3v3s. I use them a lot in 2v2s, and they've proven very well effective because people tend to use a lot of Warhogs in 2v2s as well. I don't see them that much in 3v3s. If you use them in a 3v3, and you might have some trouble because you mainly see tanks and power turret tanks in that game type. Now, Wraiths, though, in this, very effective, especially once they have heavy shields, because they take out Warhogs no problem whatsoever. You only need maybe 2 or 3, and you're good to go on everything. I don't know. I've been having I've been favoring using Wraiths a lot with Covenant in 1v1s lately, as you can tell from my last video as well, and in this one. So, also we got another upload that I plan to get up tonight as well. Once this one's getting done rendering, you'll see me using Wraiths in that one as well. So he's got flamethrowers out. Hoping I'll catch off some of his Warhogs here, stop them from healing up. And oh, there is the shot. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. Ancestral perversion being overpowered. And one thing I like as well about, I've said one thing a lot so much. This is ridiculous because there has to be several things that I like about this so far, about everything. Well. The thing is here is that once you get the second tech for any leader, it's still relatively easy to get stars on your leader, which is really nice to have. The more stars you have, the better. For example, with an Arbiter though, I really don't see many people using his normal attacks to get stars, but for Brute Chieftain and Prophet, it's relatively easy because of how useful they are without their actual abilities. With the Arbiter, he's just ridiculously overpowered because of his rage. But other than that, I know he can reflect damage, but it's not considerable enough to actually have him run around, you know, just being regular and whatnot. Because he'll deal some damage to buildings, but you really won't have him be focused on separate units to get stars. I just picked up this other reactor now, you'll see in a second. And he went back to take the other one with some flamers, so I'm going to send my Prophet all the way back again and see if I can take that as well. But I'm pumping out a decent amount of Wraiths right now. They're upgraded. And hopefully, don't remember if I already upgraded to second tech Rakes or not. But since I have 6 Wraiths now, I'm going to start moving on the offense a little bit more. I don't know why I sent them in manually like that instead of just teleporting them in. So this is the hard way of doing things. You want to use the teleporter more often. My focus here from what I saw at his base though is that he's got an air pad up of 1 reactor, which is a dumb thing to do. You don't want to focus on a reactor as if it's going to be your primary reactor, because he's got a few Hornets here, and to be honest, he could probably take me out with all the damage he's doing here. But I think he just got a little too scared. So I may be using a lot of sources of this beam again, but my priority here is noticing that he's only got one reactor at his base and one air pad, and this is kind of his focus in building his units. I'm just going to make sure that he doesn't have 2 reactors to stop him from producing any more Hornets whatsoever. He probably could have taken out my Prophet there if he wanted to, but he didn't because he didn't want to lose any more Hornets. So I'm going to try and get this 3rd tech pretty soon. My Wraiths are actually doing a decent amount of damage being ground vehicles. I'm going to send my Prophet over to the middle. My Vampire, that 1 Vampire, seeing as I definitely have enough ground vehicles and he's starting to get air units out, I'm going to switch over to Banshees and Vampires. See if that'd be a lot more effective having Vampires out in this game. I don't know if this guy was just one of those typicals like, oh, I'm Anders, I'm going to go straight for Hawks, but this game is clearly coming to a conclusion here. He's losing a lot of units. I'm getting Vampires out. I've got Wraiths that are 2nd tech, and I'm about to get a 3rd reactor here, so it's going to be over for him. This guy is clearly panicking because he's got a Gremlin out as well and still pumping out Warhogs, I believe. I'm not sure, but I'm going to put my Wraith on his 2nd base over here, and that should be it for him. He's still pumping out vehicles out of that. Jesus Christ, my nose is stuffed out of nowhere in the middle of this commentary, and that's just stupid. Now I sound like a nerd or something like that. Oh, that's a bad thing, but... Alright. 2 Vampires out, getting a 1st tech on that, sending my Prophet right over. He knows he's screwed, and that is the game. Well, like I was mentioning before, Prophet, he's not my favorite character, but he can be good in some instances as long as you use him correctly. But once he's on 3rd tech, just to be honest here, you want to be really careful of him because all you takes is a Vampire to really stop him from doing anything, and he'll be rendered useless. So keep that in mind. But thanks a lot, guys, for watching, and if you guys are subscribed to me for Halo Wars specifically, I'd really appreciate some comments or feedback, so what you want to see, because Halo Wars is not my primary game. It's one of my favorite games, but not my primary thing to upload. I'm more of a first-person shooter, so I'd really appreciate some feedback and see if any of my inactive subscribers are actually active. Thanks a lot again for watching, guys. See you later.